Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we will be soaring through time as we discuss the history of aviation, where we came from, where we are now, and where we are going. So when do you think aviation history actually began? You're probably thinking about the Wright brothers, or even Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart. But the idea of flight was first entertained by the Chinese as early as 1000 BC. The Chinese created kites, which proved the idea of lift. Leonardo da Vinci actually drew up designs for aircraft in 1485. However, it wasn't until the 1800s that the idea of a practical flying machine was being entertained and put into motion. During the 1800s, several large gliders were built and successfully flown. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers made history and recorded the first successful heavier-than-aircraft flight. This accomplishment by the Wright brothers would spark a new era, the era of aviation. To give you an idea of where modern-day aircraft started, let's look at the Wright Flyer. The Wright Flyer was a very primitive design. It was mostly made of wood and cloth. It was a biplane design, which meant there were two wings and one small automotive internal combustion engine powered two propellers. Many others followed the Wright brothers and developed similar designs. On July 28, 1914, World War I began, and with it came the desperate need for an airborne war machine. American designs at the time were no match for the Germans' faster and more powerful designs. Therefore, many Americans decided to join the French squadron called the Lafayette Escadrille in order to fight the Germans in the air. Moving forward to 1927, Charles A. Lindbergh made the first successful non-stop transatlantic flight. Not too long after him, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to successfully complete a non-stop transatlantic flight. As time went on, many more famous names came to make aviation history. In 1939, Igor Sikorsky designed and manufactured the first ever helicopter for the Army. This design was very dangerous and not very reliable, however. As time went on, helicopters would become one of the most useful and essential tools used by the U.S. military. Over the years, as aircraft design was further refined, we started seeing the biplane design perish and a new monoplane design begin. This design was lighter, had better handling, and was much faster. Just before 8 a.m. on December 7, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. This day of infamy would spark the start of World War II. As we had seen in World War I, war dramatically increases the improvements of war necessities such as aircraft. Both the Allies and Axis forces developed faster fighters and bombers that could carry increased payloads. Also, the jet and rocket engine came into being during this war. Germany's Heinkel aircraft became the first fully jet-propelled aircraft in 1939. In 1947, America's own Charles Yeager piloted the Bell X-1 faster than the speed of sound. In 1950, Boeing developed the B-52 bomber, which utilized 8 turbojet engines and could carry up to 500,000 pounds of payload. This aircraft is still being used by the Air Force today. The C-130 Hercules was developed during this time as well and is also still in commission. From the 1950s to present day, aircraft designs improved dramatically. A main contributor to this would be wartime such as Vietnam, the Cold War, Desert Storm, and the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. So now that we know where and how aviation got its start, where are we now? Well, just to give you an idea, today commercial airliners are the main mode of transportation around the world. You can book a flight and travel around the world in hours. The U.S. military can scramble its fighters and be across the world in an hour. Unmanned aircraft provide air support for days and can strike a target discreetly with extreme precision. We have the most technologically advanced and most powerful air force in the world. So what can we look forward to in the future? Well, soon your packages and mail may be delivered by drones. Who knows? Maybe taxi services, garbage trucks, and transit systems will be completely automated. Better yet, your next family vacation may even be to space. Whether we look into the past, present, or future of aviation, we can find great examples of innovation and perseverance. So next time you look up and see the jetliner cruising through the sky, remember what it took to get there and think about how things will change in the future. Thank you for listening and have a great night.